Hello and welcome to Patriot Crusader Mission's Christian Warrior Talk. I am Jason Perry.
I am Lauren Perry.
And we are...
Hello and welcome to Patriot. Sounds working.
Yeah.
Just checking.
We are having the hardest time with our sound. I can basically hear myself through Lauren's headset still, but we're going to try to roll with it and see how it goes. So this is a Christian fellowship program called Christian Warrior Talk, where we come together to celebrate our victories, learn from our defeats, and invest in each other's lives. We do that by spending time with each other on Friday night at 9 o'clock, where we can talk about anything. You can call in. We just talk about what's on our minds, what's going on in our minds, what the same things you guys are talking about in this show. We talk about biblical things. We talk about homesteading. We talk about prepping. We talk about Second Amendment. We talk about, again, like I said, all things Jesus. And in this show, we toast one another when we come on. And when people come on, they typically sign on and they'll say strength and honor. And we will toast them with
strength and honor, strength and honor, strength and honor.
So again, I apologize for being 11 minutes late. We were trying to solve Lauren's mic problem. And you guys are going to have to tell us how we sound. And I don't see any of our regulars on yet to trust on how Lauren sounds. And Lauren's going to turn.
I'll start listening.
I need you to talk to check you.
Yeah. Hello. I'm talking. I'm checking sound. No one is on tonight. Everyone's out doing Friday night things.
Everyone else is flooded.
I'm talking. I'm checking sound. It's good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. So there's Phil. Phil, strength and honor.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So there's Phil. Hey, love you too, brother. I hope everything continues to do well for you. I know you're working hard trying to serve the Lord. Victor, wow, there is somebody who we don't see very often anymore.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Victor's too cool to hang out with us now.
Aw, no.
He's like too cool. He's doing like secret squirrel guy stuff in the horrible city of Minneapolis or something.
Yeah.
There we go. Danae.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
How is Lauren's sound, guys?
Victor says I sound great.
All right, but he hasn't been around for a while, so we got to make sure compared to how terrible it is with that.
Yeah.
When Lauren talks, she does. Trust me, guys, I married her. That's not a sound that comes with her when she talks. So again, and Linda.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
We had a pretty bad week this week. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of dust picking us up and dusting off. Lauren is sick right now. She is weathering the storm. All right, awesome. U.S. Brad.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
On LinkedIn. That's the first time I've seen.
So again, this is a Christian fellowship show where we lock shields around one another and invest time in each other's lives by spending time together on Friday night. My name is Jason Perry. I'm the head pastor of Patriot Crusader Mission, a church for veterans, first responders, and patriots. Now, I happen to be at Tractor Supply, and one of the farm guys there, one of the young bucks helping me load the heavy stuff on the truck, was like, "Hey, man, your truck, what is Patriot Crusader Mission?" I said, "It's a church for veterans, first responders, and patriots." He's like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. And I go, "What?" I go, "Well, do you want to come to church?" He's like, "Man, I'm not a veteran, and I'm not even a medic." And I'm like, "Do you love America?" And he's like, "Heck yeah, I love America." Well, that makes you a patriot. You can come.
Yeah, do you think?
Oh, man. All right. I'm definitely going to come. So
Do you think people get confused by it? Like they think that we're a little
I
too.
think in my quest for clarity that I might, it might be a deterrent for some. And maybe I need to clean up the message that not everyone knows what a patriot is, or they assume when they see veterans, first responders, that it might be some
They
other
don't get
thing,
past that to kind of be like, okay, yeah, I'm a patriot.
or maybe instead of patriots, I should say patriotic individuals, something
Yeah.
like that. I love
Tim.
Tractor Supply. So who's
Strength
here?
Honor Tim Biddle.
Hey, Tim, welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Praise Jesus.
Strength and honor.
So you
Jason
notice
is at
us
Tractor Supply
toasting.
like every day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go every day, but I'm there every day.
It was like,
I actually love my county co-op, Washington County co-op, more at better prices and more knowledgeable staff. But Tractor Supply has everything you need, and the co-op, you have to kind of ask them what they have, and then there's a big warehouse behind them, and you go back and you can look at it. So it's a little bit different of a model. But the guys there have been very helpful. We've gone to them for many of our needs for our homesteading, whether it's been mastitis for our cows, for the or antibiotics for our other cow, or all that. So Christopher, welcome to the cattle game, brother. You now have skin in the cattle game.
All right.
Strength and
How
honor.
are they settling
Strength and
in?
honor.
It's two. You got 2 steer. Is that right? I can't remember what you said.
I couldn't tell if they were 2 steer.
Did you see get a picture? Did you get pictures?
I did see them. They looked young. So
Angus?
Angus, yeah.
Nice.
So he's just starting his journey on that. And he's way more handy than I am. And he's got a beautiful place with a beautiful barn. Our cows are roughing it in the flood. Hey, Louis, welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So if you notice, we are toasting. Lauren is toasting a whopping glass of water tonight. I have a Malbec wine mixed with seltzer water. So that's what I'm doing. So if you are someone who has a problem with alcohol or substance abuse, do not toast and fall off the wagon to be a part of this program. Simply go pour yourself some sweet tea, unsweet tea, coffee, water, any non-alcoholic beverage, and join along. It's got nothing to do with that. We are modeling responsible consumption of alcohol at home. Normally, Lauren would be right here alongside me, but here I am in our house. I assume you guys are in your home. I'm with my wife. I'm not around some other strange woman, and I'm partaking and drinking wine which Jesus drank. So, so that's my stance on it. The Baptists hate me for it. People who add to the Bible hate me for it. But if you're going to hate people who drink wine, well, I guess Jesus and all the disciples are right out the window. So
there is that.
So there is that. We got a rough week, guys. For those of you who watch our Instagram, Instagram is where we are the most organic, meaning we document things more up to date just because it's so easy to share there. Facebook is where we send a lot of our longer form stuff. But Christopher says alcohol abuse is when you spill it. That is correct. But the Bible says not to get drunk. And the definition of drunk, in my opinion, is when you lose the ability to make sound decisions. So for an alcoholic like my dad, one sip and he'll wake up in jail a month from now, in a month-long blackout. So he can have none. Myself, that bar is way different. And for most people, it's different. So rather than, we all want to beat up on people who drink and all this other stuff, but then there's plenty of morbidly obese people out there who wear their sin all around their body, and we don't call them out on it. And if you guys want to see that, I've done that sermon twice. I did it 3 weeks ago. It's obesity in the church. You can't miss it. I've done it twice. The last one was a couple weeks ago, and it was very well received by people who needed to receive it. I'm down about 25 pounds. I went back up 2, but
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Cheers to that.
We love you too, Victor, and I'm glad that you are getting in on that homesteading. Right now we have 44 chickens, 50 meat birds, Freedom Rangers that are still only about 3 weeks.
3 to 4, yeah, somewhere in that range.
between 3 and 4 weeks right now. So they're about to start.
They're growing
roaming
fast.
around.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
already
they grow
like
so fast.
yeah.
They grew so much faster than the Australorps.
They're funny.
We have 8 head of cattle, 3 Black Angus, 3 Jersey milk cows, a Scottish Highland, and an Irish Dexter heifer. So that is our cows. And then we have 3 hogs, 4 hogs, I'm sorry, a red wattle boar, a red wattle sow, a red wattle Berkshire sow, and a red wattle guinea hog boar. So, Claudia.
Claudia.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
All right, so everyone's tuned in. Let's now talk about what happened to us. Was it Tuesday or Monday?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday. So on Tuesday, Lauren and I were not in the room with B, and we hear crying. We come into the room. B's face is bleeding. She's covered in blood, and she's saying, through panic, tears, and sobbing, that Odie Pup bit her in the face. So, of course, we freaked out. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this was our fault.
Yes.
You should never trust a 3-year-old around animals alone, period. And our dogs are so good. We have gotten careless, and we have,
we take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it.
Put them in unfair situations.
So let's talk about this. So Odie Pup is a pit bull, right? So B and Odin were on the couch, and we have told B 100 times not to jump on the dogs when they're on the couch. So what we've pieced together through B's story and what we saw is that Odin was asleep on the couch. B jumped on him, probably hit him in the stomach and hurt him. He went from sound asleep to pain. He turned and snapped and got B in the face. B had to get 3 stitches an inch below her eye and a scratch over here on this. Mm-hmm. If Odin wanted to kill her, she'd be dead. If Odin wanted to hurt her, her face would have been shredded. All he had to do was hold on and shake. What we think happened is Odin snapped because he woke up from pain and just snapped at something. Could have thought it was probably Valkyrie or Dylan or who knows what, and then was horrified because every dog in this house knows you don't make B cry. And I'll be honest with you, once I saw that B was not dying and that it was going to require stitches, I was getting Odin to go into the side-by-side. I was going to take him out in the back 40 and I was going to blow his brains out. This woman next to me, my wife, wanted to reflect on it more, talk on it more. And so we decided to do that. We went to the hospital. Now, I know because of politics, there's a lot of haters of Ballad Health here because they're a monopoly. They bought out everyone and monopolies or whatever. And with masking, they made their employees mask and whatever, all this other stuff. Well,
and they have a specialized children's unit.
They have a specialized children's
or something like
hospital
that, which is one of the reasons why we
chose
elected to be as close to Johnson City as we did because of the.
Right. We knew someday that one of our kids was going to be rushed to the hospital, and we wanted it to be a children's hospital, and we wanted to be a trauma 1 center. And that's why we chose where we were. So we go in there and we're expecting to be read the riot act, police reports, judgment, masking, COVID lectures, the whole spiel.
Vaccine,
vaccine, vaccine. We're expecting the riot act. Now, I have been a paramedic. I've been to a ton of hospitals, in New York City. I have been a Boston cop. I've been to a ton of hospitals, and I've been a Navy SEAL, independent duty corpsman, which means basically like a PA. So I've been in a lot of military hospitals, civilian hospitals all around the world. And I got to tell you that they were a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. We walked in, there's signs to wear masks. No one challenged us. No one was put on masks. They treated B like a princess. They sent most bubbly, high pitched, sweet nurse out to make friends with me. We went back. All the nurses treated her. They go in the room and it's all painted. She went to the beach. It was this very decorated room. You go in there and they are winning her over B left and right. And the doctor comes in. The doctor, within a minute of talking to me, understands that I have a significant medical background because I'm asking pointed questions and I'm asking certain things. And he says, hey, we're going to put some a jelly which has lidocaine and epinephrine and some
I
other
was
things.
worried that she was going to have to get an injection for numbing.
Yeah, we were terrified that she was going to, we were going to be holding our kid down and thrashing, which is what I had to do as a kid and what, I've had to do in multiple hospitals all around the world. But he's like, we're going to put some jelly on her face and she's not even going to feel it. It's going to take about 20 minutes. And we're like, okay, fine. And then he's like, and then if it doesn't go well, we're going to give her some Versed, which will calm her down. It's a sedative, whatever. And I'm like, start with the Versed. I don't want her to have a scarred memory and a bad association with the hospital. So we can have her at 3 thinking that she went to the hospital to got healed, and there was no torture. Well, let's do that. Mm-hmm. So went through it. They gave the Versed. That's the only time she cried. It was a nasal inhaler, and it tasted gross and probably maybe burned a little bit. She didn't say it, but it said she cried because it went up her nose and in her mouth, which probably felt really weird. Mm-hmm. But within 5 minutes, she was high as a kite, happy, and she was basically watching an iPad while the nurse and Lauren and I were coaching her while they sewed her face up an inch below her eye with no drama. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could not have asked for it to go any better.
Next, we asked B, and here is the humanities side of this that is so important to me. I asked her where she wanted to go, and she wanted to go to Bella Vita. That's where we get pizza. She only knows it as the pizza place, but that's our daddy date place. That's where we go. And I called the owner, Amel, who co-owns it with his brother. And I'm like, hey, listen, dude, I know you guys don't do this stuff. I'm not asking you to do something crazy, but my daughter got bit in the face. The one place in the world she wants to go after this is your place. Can you make her something? You guys aren't dessert guys. I know it's usually cannolis, whatever. And he's like, bro, I'm on it. We show up. We sit down. We have a great dinner. He's in high spirits. She gets her favorite pizza. She's loving it. Her favorite thing there, she goes there, she says for the pizza, but she loves the bread and butter. Mm-hmm. She clears out the bread and butter. Yeah. Right. And it's hot, fresh out of the oven bread. And he comes out with a cake and a giant bumblebee balloon.
And bubbles.
And a big giant thing of bubbles for her. And she just melted. And I lost it. I started crying. I couldn't. So kind to him. He didn't have to do any of that. And it wasn't a big deal. She didn't lose her arm. She didn't have cancer. But it was still a big deal for her. And, he went above and beyond. And I can't thank him enough for that. Mm-hmm. And now every time she's a stomach ache, she's like, pizza? Every time she's got everything.
Big truck, go get pizza.
She thinks she's going to go get spoiled like she did then. But so anyways, he didn't make the cake. He went out and bought a cake because he didn't have time because the restaurant was slammed, but he went out and bought it. And So there's some humanity.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a bad day turned around because of the experience at the hospital and at the restaurant. Yes, Lena, she had an incident with Odin, an accident, but she has one puncture on her cheek. We have some Captain Caveman.
Yeah, hold on. Captain Caveman.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Val.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
And Lena.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Yeah. And, and they used small cat gut sutures. They went tiny. He did a great job sewing her up. If there's a scar, it's going to be tiny.
I have a picture.
What?
Do you want to share a picture or no?
Which one?
I have the original picture, but then I have a picture of the.
We'll share the originals.
But she loves her, she calls it her bandage. She just has a Band-Aid on it.
Her bandage.
She loves like taking care of it, and she gets
she's her own doctor now.
Yeah.
Got to get my medicine.
Got to get her medicine, and so there's zero trauma. And then the next morning, she was hugging all over Odin, saying that she loved him.
So Lauren's pulling up pics. But that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday we rolled into, well, first let's fully debrief this. So once you share those, I want to get your perspective and I want to get your everything.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lauren.
What do you mean by my everything?
Your thing on this, the whole dog bite, what you're thinking, what we're going to do different. Why isn't Odin 6 feet underground right now?
So
don't forget, you know how to talk on this. Come on.
I know.
So this is our first time coming on here publicly, you coming on here publicly. So people want to hear what you have to say.
Facebook user that just put in the heart emoji, it didn't pull your name over. So tell us who you are. If I thought that there was any aggressive intent behind what happened, then I would have been much more on the same page of euthanizing them. But knowing their history, knowing how B is physical with him sometimes, even though we relentlessly tell her to not.
Hey, Louie.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So the one under her eye is the one that got 3 stitches.
Yeah.
The other one may have been able to take a stitch or two that I saw, but it was right on the line.
It's
kind of wish
really
we
shallow.
had a little bit because she picks at it.
It's really shallow.
But that was her right after we kind of cleaned her up. There was a lot of blood, face things bleed with a lot of blood. And, that just totally freaked me out. That's her little suture. She's still high as a kite there, I think.
No. This was in the bathroom yesterday.
Oh, that's in the bathroom. Okay, so you can see it's already it's already starting to heal there. And this was her in the hospital bed with her.
That was the numbing gel being put on. So she wasn't high yet.
She's
there.
Already happy because of how well that they did.
Mm-hmm. Facebook user, who are you?
Okay, so the one who said my own dog bit me in the face, just type in your name just because for some reason it's not pulling your name over, and we just love to know who we're talking about because you're telling us.
And yes, she is getting big and cute.
Yes. Oh, it's Amy Jean. That's
hi, Amy Jean.
Hi, Amy Jean. Yeah, she's getting very cute. I mean, she's awesome. She's my heart and soul, my sunshine. And no one hurts B. And that's why I've fully intended to put Odin in the ground. So before we get into why he's still here, let's talk about what people can do to avoid what happened to us and what we're doing going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I used to train dogs, and I we have gotten lazy because we trust our dogs so much, because they have shown us over and over again that they are tolerant of her, and we have taken advantage of that. And we got a shot across our bow that we need to rein it in, and I'm grateful that it is as minimal of a shot across our bow as it was. So we just need to go back to that she can't be around the dogs without us in the room. And so we're being more diligent about, gating them if she's in the living room and I'm having to kind of cook in the kitchen or do something, that I make sure that I've called the dogs out of there, so that, because I don't have my eyes on, we are going to start utilizing our basement kind of as a home base for the dogs more. That especially if we cannot be supervising, and if we don't want to manage kind of flow on the main level of the house, they'll be staying down there, sleeping down there, eating down there. And I think it's safer for the kids, and it's more fair for the dogs to not put them in a situation like what Odin ended up in.
Yeah. So that morning, I'm not sure if you thought I was taking care of B or I thought you were taking care of B or what was going on, but it ended up she was on the couch with Odin while we were multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
And, when your dogs have full run of the house, that's easy to happen. And when your kids have no instinct for self-protection at all, no awareness at all, it's on you as the guardian to make good decisions for them. And Lauren and I failed terribly at this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my opinion, I think Odin should go. But I'm not the only one in this house. Lauren.
Go mean rehome, right? Or go mean
I think you
euthanize.
should be rehomed, and if not rehomed, 6 feet in the ground. But I'm not the only one in this house. We both love him. I love him. You love him.
Mm-hmm.
B loves him. And I think we have a reasonable chance of pulling this off, of being able to protect our family or our kids, because let's face it, B's 3 by 5, she'll probably have figured that out.
Yeah, but we're starting at square one.
But
with
Anya
Anya,
is 6 months, so we're 5 years from our kids being able to make sound decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Amy Jean.
Thank you.
And thanks, Val. So as of right now, we're looking to see if we can find a good fit for Odin, and if not, and even if Odin goes, we are changing the whole layout, our dog's entire lives. So do you want to get into that?
Well, I did kind of. Yeah, I mean, so even because part of the discussion was that even if Odin is gone, we're still going to need to make changes because of Valkyrie and Dylan here, with kind of them staying in the basement more, managing the flow of the house more. So part of the discussion on what is Odin's future is, if we're making these changes, regardless, does he fit into that? Versus, are we only making those changes because of Odin, and we wouldn't make any changes if it was just the girls? And we are kind of the mind that we'd be making changes anyways.
Yeah, it's my belief that 98% of dogs would have reacted just like Odin did.
Yeah.
So whether it was Dylan or Valkyrie, the chances of them being hurt in their sleep and snapping at an unknown something that hurt them, could have happened with any of them. Now, Odin has the best bite control out of all of them, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I have pushed Odin. I've wrestled with him, and he has had his mouth all over my hands and everything else. And the only time I've ever been hurt is when he was coming forward and I was coming forward, and I basically bumped his teeth.
Yeah. And he's always been so careful with her.
Yeah. So, but you don't get to bite my little girl in the face. And that's the part that if the other part of this that makes me be able to do this is that B still loves him. She's not afraid of him. She's not scarred and scared of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
She's rubbing up on him and hugging up on him right away. So it's not like I'm torturing my kid with trauma by having the dog that bit.
Yeah, that would change
that
everything.
Would have been dragged out back and taken care of right then and there. And all you dog lovers out there will probably hate me for that. And you know, I love my dog, but I'm just thankful that it was only 3 stitches.
Yes.
Because we've all seen the horror stories. Pit bull kills kid, pit bull kills woman,
yeah, it's sad
whatever. And that was not him. He didn't grab and shake. He didn't do anything. He probably realized what he did and freaked out.
Just says, give him some time to redeem himself, but under your eyes, the mastiff I didn't put down turned out to be a great dog. We'd never let them be alone with Brayden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a good reminder to rein it in.
And it made us look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've gotten careless on the side-by-side with the, we've gotten careless with a bunch of other things, sharp objects and stuff around the house that, you know, we've been lucky and we haven't had to like child-proof our house, but Anya will kill herself.
Yeah. We never really had to do much for B, but yes, Anya is definitely going to be the baby that tries to kill herself every day. So all of these things are going to have to be happening anyways. And I think the dogs will be grateful to be kept away from a newly crawling baby in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And then on top of all that, Anya was sick. She had diarrhea and stomach problems. So
high fever.
Fever, 3 hellacious nights of no sleep for basically Lauren the most and everyone else. Oh, the only one who sleeps good in the house is B.
Yeah.
B and the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We do not. And then the next day, Wednesday morning, we woke up to what we thought was a very sick cow.
Yeah.
Gracie, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we're rolling out. Val said, every parent has failed at something that has hurt our child in some way. Be vigilant, but give yourself grace.
Thank you, Val.
Thanks, Val. Was that Margot?
Yeah. Is it a Margot or that was the Black Dragon? That was the Black Dragon.
Yeah, so Wednesday kind of things were still kind of fresh from everything that happened Tuesday, and Anya had her worst night, so I was on like no sleep. And went out and milked the cows, and Gracie, one of our cows, felt like one of her quarters milked out, but it was really firm. It felt like nothing had, her quantity was still good, so I know that milk came out of it, but it felt like as hard as it, they get pretty firm when they're full of milk. And so I was like, oh, is this mastitis? What is it? I was researching, so thought it might be edema, which can be from a trauma. So Karen, one of the mean Angus gals, like headbutts them a lot. They go after the jerseys, and I'm guessing that she might have bonked her pretty hard in her udder that caused some trauma.
We've seen her T-bone them and throw them in the air.
So I milked her out extra that night, and by that night it was getting better. But so we were like, gosh, we have that, and then Daisy, the newest of the milk cows, bloated. So her routine was the exact same, and she hangs out in the chute after milking for, an hour or two, because she likes to finish her grain slowly and all that stuff. And I went to let her out, and she was swollen like a balloon. She's a skinny cow, and she looked like she was 9 months pregnant. And that can kill them. So I don't know much about it other than it can be serious. And so we called
multiple
multiple vets.
multiple friends.
And they were like, "We'll just walk her, watch her, see if she's eating, see if she's burping, and just watch to see if it's getting bigger or smaller."
And pray.
And yeah, because we would have had to, because we don't have a good place right now. We are realizing all of the holes. You know, we still have a lot of holes in our setup.
We don't have a cow trailer.
We don't have a place.
We don't have a headlock where we can put the cows in to lock
do
them in place so you can
yeah.
like put a tube down their throat when they don't like it.
Yeah, because the solution to this would have been tubing to inject some mineral oil directly into her stomach. And so they need to be secured in order to tolerate that procedure. So, yeah, and then we don't have a trailer, so he was going to have to go rent a trailer to bring her to the vet, because since the vet couldn't do a house call here. But fortunately, by that evening when we went out to do chores, she had deflated significantly. So God came through on those, because God
came through on all three.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, 1, protecting our child from our stupidity. 2, Gracie, and then 3, getting rid of bloat, which they sometimes bloat for no reason, stress, heat, whatever.
Yeah, because nothing changed. I mean, if they have a significant change in their feed, it can be common or possible, but nothing was changed in her routine. So I'm not sure what caused it. But so, yeah, so fortunate that that it resolved on its own, because that was not the day that we needed to be dealing with sick cows and all of that. It was a day.
It was a day, and I'm just, there's even more, right? And just so grateful that God is merciful and that God gives grace and that he protected us. Particularly B, protected her in multiple ways. And we need to learn these lessons hard. I'm never going to look at Odin the same way. He's going to be a good dog. He is a good dog. And I think any dog would have done that. But how many dogs bite kids in the face? And he's got a track record of doing bad decisions. He's bit one of our cows in the face, a lip, and he snapped at our girls. And
girls meaning the dogs.
The dogs, yeah. So, so again, I don't know if he's a ticking time bomb or he's now 3.5 going on 4, and he's an adult dog and he's got boundaries that he didn't have as a puppy. Mm-hmm. Can't blame it on his balls. We cut those off, right? Against my wishes, just saying. Women love taking man's manhood. They live for it.
I think you agreed that him marking in the house was getting a little old.
so just saying.
I think you said take him.
The answer for everything is cut him off. Get rid of the testosterone. Yeah. But no. So anyways, we're going to, the dogs are no longer have free range of the house. They're only allowed around the kids when we're not multitasking and when we can focus on what they're doing. Now, when we go outside, we all play.
Where is this 1 billion coming from, Christopher? Do you need to play the lottery?
Hey, when is that lottery? I'm actually going to play a ticket for that. It's the largest Mega Millions ever. I'm going to drop a hundo on that.
Did you see what was the restaurant? It was one of the chains. He spent $50,000 and he bought all of his employees' tickets. He bought like a crazy amount of tickets.
Tonight, I can't do it tonight. How do I buy tickets right now?
Well, we're just going to have to hope Christopher wins and send us a couple mil.
Can I buy?
Oh my goodness.
Mega Millions online. It's right there.
Pause the show. Jason's buying Mega Millions tickets. Oh my goodness.
Hold on, Tennessee.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to see if you can do it.
Anyone else buy tickets? Chris said, don't worry, I got you. Louis said, I wanted to go play. My wife said, no. We've bought some before.
I have, and it's never worked out.
It's never worked out.
But man, you could sure use that.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we can deal with this. When is
All right,
it? When is it
carry
drawing?
the show. Go for it.
Wait, go up. Next drawing Friday, 7/29 at 11. So you can buy it right after the show.
I'm gonna fly to a store and get me a
Oh my
hundo.
goodness, no, you're not.
Totally am.
Claudia
So-
got them tonight. Oh, Banana Booey, welcome.
Welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
He said it's getting wild. When we win the lotto, we're having a Patriot Crusader mission con. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that we build everything right there and
Oh,
now.
who's Duncan? We're getting some new
Strength and
people
honor. Strength and
signing in.
honor. Strength and honor.
Claudia, how many did you buy? Sounds like you're gonna have some competition.
We'll build the compound immediately. They will break ground tomorrow. That church will be up on the hill. We'll put a parking lot throughout the orchard. I mean, it'll be amazing.
Done.
Done.
All right. We'll look after.
Keep going, Lauren. Keep going. You got this.
Okay. No. I'm just, yeah. Well, anyways, Claudia said 1. That's all you need to win. Chris said it's fun to think about. Louis, the topic tonight is stressful life.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of that.
Yeah.
Was there
So-
any, what else? You said there was more.
No, just,
I think the cows were it on,
yeah. Well, just, now you're sick.
yeah.
3 bad nights of sleep. Just rough. So it just kind of is what it is. It's going to be a lot of work to rearrange our lives and how, I mean, we've been doing the lowest drag, which is dogs go anywhere, do what they want, and so it's going to be one, I'm actually looking forward to taking back our house, meaning that, when you have a homestead, it's not like having a house in a cul-de-sac or
We
in
can
your
just
little
say-
neighborhood.
The house is disgusting. I'm not able to keep up on cleaning, and
House is disgusting.
our living situation with the dogs and the farm muck really requires a lot more cleaning than I can get to.
Right. So you're talking about, we got free range chickens that poop everywhere. We have cows that poop everywhere. We have pigs that poop everywhere. And we have dogs that poop everywhere. And the dogs step in it all and go right through your house. So it's, so I am really looking forward to them being basement creatures and outside creatures and upstairs on invitation only.
Yes. We'll see how it all goes. That's the plan.
Well, the other big news I want to talk about is I'm going to share this freaking article that is straight up evil. Written by a CNN person. So there you go. Let me put this and then let me share this. It's called "An Imposter Christianity is Threatening the American Democracy." So I'm going to pull it up on screen and Lauren's going to read it because she's the best reader's voice ever.
Okay. Go.
Go.
Okay. 3 men, eyes closed and heads bowed, prayed before a rough-hewn wooden cross. Another man wrapped his arms around a massive Bible pressed against his chest like a shield. All throughout the crowd, people waved "Jesus Saves" banners and pumped their fists towards the sky. At first glance, these snapshots looked like scenes from an outdoor church rally, but this event wasn't a revival. It was what some call a Christian revolt. These were photos of people who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, during an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The insurrection marked the first time many Americans realized the U.S. is facing a burgeoning white Christian nationalist movement. This movement uses Christian language to cloak sexism and hostility to Black people and non-white immigrants in its quest to create a white Christian America.
Pause. Great job, Odin. So I was there on the 6th. I wasn't at the Capitol. I was at the Washington Monument. And see, he's the gift that keeps on giving. And let me tell you, there are people of all colors there. I mean, the whole rainbow of races was there. And, you know, you can tell that this is a slanted hit piece by them saying that a Christian nationalist movement, right? They got to throw, I completely agree with you, Louis. That's why I was there, right? To be counted, not because I wanted to be there. I didn't want to be there. And it was the most peaceful thing. I saw people praying, people singing, you know, patriotic songs and Christian hymns and all these things. And for them to call that, you know, violent. The only people who died were Trump supporters, right? Were literally Trump supporters were the only ones who died. Mm-hmm. All right. And it's just a catastrophic demonic lie on what they've done to the 6th. And this charade they've done on TV, which there's never been anything like it. They don't have, you know, a ranking member from the other side. They have Liz Cheney, who hates Trump and who's basically rubber stamped everything that they've done. And what is it? Adam Kissinger, the other guy, the guy who cries all the time. Tucker hates him. From Illinois, who's retiring.
I'm not sure. There's
no integrity in the vast majority of our politics, but there's the only hope we have is in the Republican Party and the MAGA movement, meaning, you know, the Make America Great Again or America First agenda. And, you know, what they've done, the whole conspiracy is to demonize evangelicals now, to call evangelicals people who love anyone, no matter what they look like, and try to make us sound all like racists because we love Jesus and we love our country. So if you love Jesus and you love your country, are you a Black Christian nationalist? Mm-hmm. If you are, you know, Asian, are you a yellow Christian nationalist? No, we don't ever talk about that. All we talk about is white Christian nationalists, right? So again, it's their ability to try to weaponize faux compassion and to paint, you know, typically white men as the ultimate evil of all the world. And it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. And everyone can see through it. Exactly. Christopher said, Christians don't care about your color. All I care about is your moral and faith. I care if you're a law-abiding citizen. I care if you're a good person. I care if you will stand by me and fight. Exactly, Christopher. Right? But they are the racists. The reason why the Democrat Party is this way is because how they feel inside, and they project their guilt on us. Right? They think less of Black people, so they project that on us because they think, well, if I feel this way, Republicans are horrible. They definitely must feel this way. Right. And that's how they do everything. They accuse you of what they themselves are doing, and it's freaking terrible. And, you know, this is I'm not going to waste your time with the rest, but they try to attack, you know, everything about, you know, the Christian church and, you know, and how white evangelicals are now, you know, a borderline terrorist group. And it's shameful. They try to rewrite the history and say we were not founded as a Christian nation, which 100% we were. I've done a sermon on that. You can go check it out online, where I list quotes and with this, you know, of our, you know, founding fathers and significant people who have been a part of our government. And, you know, they're just, this is the left's attempt to try to make anybody who's a Christian conservative. the enemy, an irrational terrorist enemy. And it's disgusting. And, who watches CNN anyways, besides the 20% of insane liberals? I don't even think your parents watch CNN.
No, they don't.
Right. So, I mean, there you go.
Yeah. I'm not sure their opinion of it. I'm sure they think there's probably some good stuff on there.
No, but so anyways, that, 2% exactly, Louis. I mean, it's an embarrassment. Thanks, Tim. The church needs to get involved in what so they never mentioned this at all. Oh my God. Can you please take that bowl from Odin, or else he's going to beat it up the entire time, and they can hear that through your mic. It's a dog. He's an awesome dog.
Come here. You guys, come on. Go on.
I lost my train of thought. Sorry, because I'm hearing the gong show played by my dog. So if you guys could help me refocus on what I was actually talking about there, I would appreciate it. This has been an awesome week, and he just keeps on making it better.
They are a lesson in you learning to let things go and just focus.
Do you remember what I was talking about?
No.
No, right, because what were you hearing? You weren't hearing me, you were hearing gong, 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 right? Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I know what I was saying. So the black church has been preaching politics from the pulpit for the past 50 years, and no one has ever pushed back on them doing it. And now Christians, conservative Christians, white evangelicals, but evangelicals of all skin type, Hispanic, Asian, black, are now getting up there and doing what their responsibility is as a pastor. My responsibility as a pastor is to give you the biblical stance on the issues of the day and tell you what is biblical and what is not biblical, right? That is my job, okay? Now, our country was founded that way. I know you're going to go. I'm going to slide over. I'm going to unmute you until you come back. If you come back. Oh, I can't wait till we're through this stage, people. Newborns that suck at sleeping are awesome. But anyways, it's our job as pastors, and it's our job as Christians and influential Christians to educate people on what the biblical stance is on abortion, on every issue, right? And our country was founded on that. They used to have a pastor do an election day sermon, and they would vote in the churches, people. In the churches. So don't talk to me about separation of church and state. It exists nowhere in our founding documents. It's in one letter to Danbury Baptist from Thomas Jefferson saying that, that the government was not going to tell the church what to do. It never was meant for the church not to play a role in the government, because it was definitely meant to be in the government. Yeah, Louis, I'm doing my best to enjoy these stages of a difficult child who will not let us sleep, and who's just running us ragged right now. I'm sure she's going to turn into a great person. We're going to disciple her onto Jesus Christ. But if I could hit fast forward to 2, I sure as heck would right now. Just telling you. Maybe that makes me a terrible person, but I'm being real with you. I have an autistic son as well, and she is harder than he is. She's a challenge. We love her. She's a sweetheart when she's not crying, but man, does she cry a lot. So anyways, so we as Bible believers, and we as the light in the world, have to show the lies. We have to stand in the truth. Exactly, Christopher. I would fast forward past the sleepless nights as well. Amen. Amen. it's a young man's game. We shouldn't be going through this at 50, right, Christopher? Holy smokes. But you know, and there are champions out there speaking out. You got Greg Locke, you got Ken Graves, others, myself, who are going to weigh in on these issues and tell you what the Bible says on them and where you should come down on these based upon what the Bible tells us, right? So the other thing I want to talk about, it's not colic, unfortunately, Louie, because anytime she doesn't get her way, when mom puts her down or does anything, it's a 5-alarm fire. So, it's really mama separation anxiety, maybe a little bit of colic and maybe whatever, but they started with that. Yeah, Christopher, exactly. I have more patience at 50, but I have less energy. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I got to interview Ray Comfort a couple weeks ago. And Ray Comfort is a great guy who does a lot of street evangelism. He's definitely, he's got people out there who've seen millions of his videos. But he's a unique guy. And being a class act, he sent me his Bible. Now, it's a beautiful Bible, and I'm sure there's lots of great things in it. But like all study Bibles, when I open a Bible, the first thing I turn to is Genesis, and I turn to the first page, and I see if they try to tackle young Earth, old Earth, 620, or the Earth was created in 624-hour days or not. And to my disappointment, he comes in here and he says things and implies things that are factual that he can't possibly know. And now you've got things that are basically lies in the Bible because you don't know them. And his argument is it's 6 24-hour days. Whereas if I pick up my Reformation study Bible, what you get instead is what you should have. And what that is someone who explains multiple things and doesn't say this is what it is as its fact. Said here are the stances on this, and maybe they'll come down on one, but they'll say, hey, I believe 6 24-hour days is where it comes down. Others believe it's 6,000 year days or even longer, millions of years. No one knows, right? And the Bible is not a science book. God is the author of science, and science will always prove God because he created it, right? I don't fear science. And when people try to oversimplify things, just because they can't expand their brain big enough to be able to fathom that, the concept that maybe, God was doing the work for the 6 days, and the 6 days were God's days, whatever the heck those are, days in heaven, whatever those are, to a being that exists out of time, to think that he would operate in our days before the sun and the moon were even created, to create a 24-hour day. It's the only time in history. Yeah, exactly. That's the other one, right? And that 1,000 years could be not just 1,000 years, it could be 1,000,000 years, it could be 1,000,000,000 years, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So why risk turning someone off, right, on something that salvation is not even involved in? Like whether you are a new earth or an old earth or a 24-hour day or a 24 million year day, it doesn't matter. Salvation is not based upon it. So you can say, hey, this is what I believe, but there's a lot of other brilliant people who believe otherwise. That is what R.C. Sproul does with the Reformation Study Bible, and that is not what I have seen in this one. I appreciate it. I think Ray's a good guy. I think he does a lot of good for the kingdom, but I don't understand putting that stake in the ground and picking that fight is totally irrelevant when we're saving souls. I can tell you as an atheist, if he came at me with the 6 days and tried to say that, I would have been able, I would have been, I would not have even been open to entertaining the talk God, because I would consider I'm talking with an irrational person. If I'm talking with an irrational person who has no credibility to even think that there is the possibility that they could be wrong on something that, other theories in science say other things, right? The radio fraction things that measure the age of carbon and all that stuff. That's another theory, guys. It may be right, it may be wrong, but I'm open to that possibility. It makes more sense that God, who lives outside of time, would have spent a lot of time, setting this up the right way, instead of, trying to confuse us by creating an old universe. I just don't think that's how it works, right? I think that, I think we have to say what we know and then say what we believe. And what we believe, it doesn't matter. For example, in court, if I'm a police officer and I'm chasing a suspect that just shot a guy, right? And he's holding something in his hand. He's holding something in his hand. It's black, right? And he's running away from me, and he turns, and I shoot him because I believe he has a gun in his hand. And that gun turns into being a phone, right? I believed he had a gun in his hand. That doesn't make it true when he happened to have a phone in his hand. Does that make sense? I don't know if I distilled that down to anything for you guys, because I know there's a lot of people in here that are literal 24-hour days. And to me, that just seems so irrational. God makes everything to scale. He made us in his image, right? Are we godly? Absolutely not. We're like 1/1 billionth of God. He made us in his image. He didn't make us gods, right? So everything he's done is a shrunken down model for us, right? The 7-day calendar or 7-day work week is a shrunken down model for what he does. But do you think that an eternal being operates in 24 hours a day? I don't think so. And so anyways, I was a little disappointed in that. I was hoping he was going to present a more balanced argument. And I'm going to look at a lot of his other stuff, and I'm going to see what I agree with and what I do. And I'd love to interview him and talk to him about those things, and be able to have a warm intellectual discussion on those things. I think, unfortunately, Christendom surrendered science right after Darwin came out. They were all about science. Until Darwin came out, and they got freaked out with the evolution thing. And then they surrendered science for another 80 years. And now we have other creationist science, which I'm a creationist. I believe that God created everything. I just don't think that the elementary school level reasoning that they're using is appropriate. I think that, there might be a little bit more complexity, since we're talking about the most complex being, creation, or creature being God, the creator of all in history. Exactly, Christopher. I completely agree with you there. So, again, again, I still think very highly of Ray, and I still support him and still talk to him, but I was just a little bit. We can't risk inerrancy here, and that's what people don't understand. If we start being wrong by what we write in these Bibles, then as we start going after atheists and unbelievers, and they find untruths by conclusions that you drew in the Bible, whether it's in the study part or not, whether it's in the footnotes apart, you risk inerrancy. And that's something that we can't do, right? We can't risk losing inerrancy. And, it's particularly when it's unnecessary, right? Completely unnecessary. So a couple things, we got, as far as the projects and things that we got going on here around the house, I got most of the chicken coop, new chicken coop floor down. The milk station's 100% done. Like I said, we moved the pigs back there, and I think tomorrow, exactly, Christopher, you give them ammo against you. I couldn't agree with you more. And so tomorrow I am actually, if it's not continued to rain and flood and everything else, I'm going to string electric wire. We pounded, or actually Warren, my good friend Warren, pounded in about 70 posts the other day to do the second pasture because the cows have eaten through pasture one. Pasture one needs a rest. So, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run 3 lines of hot wire, jack into our solar hot wire system, and release the cows into the other field. Just because I can do that alone. I can literally do that alone. Whereas hanging barbed wire, you need a team to do that, to do it right. You know, with pulleys and everything else, come alongs and all the other things to get the wire tight, and you get a sink corner post. With the T-post and hot wire, I can literally get that whole field done in probably a couple hours. So I'm going to do that just so the cows can get out to the new pasture, and we can give our field a rest. You guys will see once you, Chris, you're going to see how, 8 cows will burn through, 4 acres in no time, particularly if you got Jerseys, because they're producing milk. They eat so much cow. The Angus, they can sustain on like next to nothing. It's crazy. I feed them a little bit of beef cube, the cattle cubes, just to keep them coming. But they're growing no problem. Whereas the Jerseys is impossible to keep weight on them. Impossible. You guys get any questions on anything that we covered, or anything that we're doing on the compound? For a lot of you guys are new here. Yeah, they like the cubes. So what we're doing here on our ground, so you understand, as I put the donate support on here, we are building a Christian compound here. 1, we are a church. 2, we are a farm. 3, we are a compound. So a farm, we are growing 2,000 pounds of potatoes, which will be coming out of the ground here soon. We have eggs from our egg birds. We have our meat birds. We have our dairy, right? We do milk, butter, homemade ice cream, buttermilk, cream, all that stuff. We have 44 acres, Louis. And we're also raising beef cattle with the Black Angus. We've also got the Dexter, who's a hybrid, so we're hoping to milk her. And then we have the Scottish Highland that we're using as a bulldozer because they love eating trees, and I can put them back there and let them clean the lot. So that's why we're trying to grow that herd. But our goal here is to get as many log cabins on here. Start with, a 2-bedroom, maybe a 1-bedroom, then a 2, then a 3, then, do multiple 3s, a 4, maybe a 7. Goal is to get around 12 cabins on this property, unless we can fit more. One of them being a 7-bedroom. And then up on the top of the hill that you guys have seen, we have 360-degree mountain views. We want to build, we were going to build a big church up there. What I think we're going to build is a big worship center up there, meaning we're going to build a giant Viking, lodge type thing, Tennessee log hunting cabin up there with 3 stories, wraparound deck that we can do weddings at and events at and fellowship at and host Christian retreats and teach there. So as a church, we teach discipling, we disciple people unto Jesus Christ, and we teach men to disciple their families, right? And we teach women, how to be on their own and how to disciple their families until they find a godly man. We teach them to be independent, both men and women. So the goal here is to be able to run Christian camps out of here, husband and wife camps, right? Where they come and renew their vows, do their, or, maybe get, remarried up there, renew their marriage. Every cabin will have a deck and a jacuzzi and a mountain view. That is our goal, right? And privacy. Then we'll have men's retreats where we come here and we shoot. We learn how to do, how to fight, with your hands and with your body, as well as learning how to fight with a pistol to be able to protect your house, your home, your family, your church, your community, as well as learning how to take care of a homestead and how to set up your own homestead, as well as teaching basic carpentry, electrical, plumbing, so that men can be the superheroes of their home again, and women can be independent if they're alone, raising a family alone, right? I see father-son retreats. I see mother-daughter retreats. I see whatever. Want people to be able to come here and be able to rotate them through and disciple them onto the Lord while we're teaching all these skills, right? Our goal is to have enough food to feed our congregation and our community. We're surrounded by trailer parks here and the have-nots, and we want to be able to offer them food, but we don't give anything away for free. You can either pay for it or you can do sweat equity on the farm, right? But no one's getting a handout here. So either you're here helping feed the cows, helping, get the chicken eggs, helping, build fences and everything else that we do here, and helping maintain the property, mowing the lawn, weed whacking, hedge trimming, whatever. You're here contributing. You're learning a work ethic, and you're doing it for the Lord. That is what this is about. All right. So, so appreciate it. If any of you guys want to donate, you can donate online. Patriot Crusader Mission. We're truly trying to create a retreat with walking trails, swimming hole, retention pond that'll grow duckweed and cattails that we'll use for food for the pigs and for the cattle. There's just so much that we want to do here. It's a very big vision, and Lauren and I have funded about 97% of it. So appreciate you guys watching this show. I hope you got something out of it. And I'll see you on Sunday at 11 o'clock. About 11:15, we stream our service. Service starts at 11 o'clock sharp here. We do our worship beforehand because we don't have a band here yet or a worship team. So we basically are here singing YouTube videos or songs that are on YouTube with the words up. And I don't want to get hit with copyright and all that other stuff. So, so rather than deal with that, we start right after that. So I will see you here on Sunday at 11 o'clock or 11:15 if you're online and you're far away. God bless you. I'm so glad that you stayed and hung out with us tonight. And, that's what it's all about. It's all about us investing time in one another because God knows it can be lonely out there. God bless. See you then.